Oh, and there's Jarrett. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Hi, Jarrett. We are
Hello.
we are having the first beautiful sunny day that we have had in about a month. We've had nothing but smoke. So normally we have about 10 to 15 people join us online for the meeting, but I think everyone, we have some people here normally join us online that are now in person, and others are just out enjoying the ability to be outside without coughing. So I
Makes
understand.
sense.
I understand that our turnout is a little bit less than usual, but that's okay. I appreciate you being here. I was just going through some of the initial announcements of what's going on with Klamath Film right now, but since we have some people joining us for the first time here, so Jared and John, we'll just go through some real quick introductions. I'm Kurt Lidke. I'm the executive director of Klamath Film. I'm also a filmmaker, and I'm a commercial drone pilot and a private pilot as well.
Nice.
I've been flying since I was 7 years old, and I have both an aerial and underwater drone, so I can do submarine work as well. So that's me. Bowen, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Bowen Browder. I am a recent graduate of Oregon Institute of Technology with a BS in Communication Studies. I'm also working as an admissions counselor for Oregon Tech. I'm a still relatively new member of Klamath Film, and you could call me an aspiring actor.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Joyce Dickens. I am an independent photographer and acrylic artist here in Klamath Falls, a member of Klamath Film, and a 2-year resident now of Klamath Falls, and enjoying the area and getting to meet these wonderful people at Klamath Film.
Guys, hi, Joyce.
And Howard?
Howard Stapleton here. I suppose my most important claim to fame is surviving 40 years in Hollywood, and been up here in the Falls for 2 years. Spent most of that time in Hollywood shooting documentary videos, all of which were broadcast on the public television network. Haven't had any of the marvelous experiences of people who freelance. Staff jobs are very comfortable. And retirement is overwhelmingly comfortable here in the Falls.
Good.
And David, here, I'll turn the mic around so David can introduce himself.
Hi, I'm David Reed. I'm a retired naval photographer, filmmaker, actor, prop maker, past board member and past vice president of Klamath Film.
No, we can't see you, David.
Oh.
There we go.
We there? Okay. So I've been with the group since almost the beginning, and I continue to serve where I'm needed.
Excellent.
And John, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm not sure which mic's picking up here. But
Wait, we can hear you
this one.
just fine.
And so I grew up here in Klamath Falls. You know, I've gone to OIT software degree, so I haven't done a lot in filmmaking per se. I made it to the thing last month with you there at the Falls Tap House, whatever. And I'm more into, I like music. So, I mean, I think I'm a little more on probably the film score side of life at this moment. But maybe we'll make film stuff later too. We'll see. Still learning.
Terrific. And Jarrett.
Yeah, my name is Jared Bryant, and I think it was Royce. Is your name Royce?
Joyce. Joyce.
Joyce.
Joyce.
Oh, Joyce, and then the other individual across from her, his name?
Howard.
Howard, yes. Howard, like you, I started in Hollywood as well, working staff jobs as writer and so forth, and that kind of went away once the strike happened, the writer's strike back 20 some odd years ago, and that's when The Apprentice took over and all the reality shows. So living here in Eugene, Oregon now, and finally got around to making my first film. So excited about that. And I got to tell you, I love your festival. It's well organized, Kurt. You really took the bull by the horns, and you're making things happen there in Klamath. And we're kind of envious down here in Eugene, or up here in Eugene, I should say, from where you are.
Well, I grew up in Eugene, and it's still home for me. I just am relocated. I relocated in LA for 12 years, and now in Klamath since 2016. But I still try to make it home to Eugene. I do know that there's a burgeoning Lane County filmmakers group that has been growing a lot recently. And honestly, I think they're kind of taking their model from us, because they keep, picking my brain for details of how we do things. And then I see them kind of replicating what we do. So
yes, yes, absolutely. Well, I'm thinking maybe we should just pick you off and bring you up here.
Well,
Not allowed.
Well, thank you for joining us, but both of you. Like I said, normally we have a larger crowd for this, but it is just such a beautiful day in Klamath that I don't blame anyone for saying, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go outside and have some fun and do a thing, because we've all been stuck inside with the wildfire smoke for so long. So we do these meetings on the first Thursday of every month from 6 to 8. They are open to the public. You don't have to be a member. And this is an opportunity to network, to meet other filmmakers, actors, film fans, students in the Klamath Basin and beyond, to talk about what's happening right now with our organization, upcoming opportunities. Anytime that there's a casting call or an upcoming production, we will announce it through our organization, and we'll try to coordinate that with our membership as much as possible. So far this year, we've had 4 films shot here, and we are talking to more potential productions coming here in the near future, though exact dates are still to be determined on that. That's the most we've ever had shot in our area. So
Nice.
That's been fantastic. A lot of that came out of last year's film festival. So this is the 9th year of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. We are the only film festival around that exclusively showcases made in Oregon films. Every film that we show is either by an Oregon filmmaker or shot predominantly in Oregon. No other places like that. So we are the Made in Oregon Film Fest. Last year, we were also the only film festival in the entire country that was allowed to have an in-theater audience. Everyone else either went virtual or had drive-throughs. But the Ross Ragland being as big as it is, we were able to block off rows, space people out, and we were still able to adhere to policies. We're keeping a close eye on COVID numbers right now to see kind of what's going to happen. But the plan right now is that our festival again this year, September 17th through the 19th, will still be in person and also available online. Online is going to be open September 17th through the 26th. So I realize it's long hours at the theater. So if you don't want to sit for 12 hours in the theater for each day for 3 days straight, you can go out, do whatever, and then still watch things online and catch all of that. Every film online will also have an exclusive online only Q&A with the filmmakers. Jarrett and I recorded one earlier in August for his film Maxi, which is one of our feature films in the festival. I always want to give an opportunity for people to kind of talk about projects that they may be working on before we delve into business, but there is a lot of business. Now, normally every month, these meetings include a featured guest where I bring in someone from Hollywood, different fields to talk about what they do. I tried to have a featured guest this month and everyone turned me down. So I apologize for that. Next month, we have at least 5 people who said that they'd be available but weren't available this month. So we'll see. We'll see how all that works out. But we have lots of news because our film festival is only 2 weeks away. So there's lots of stuff to go over. So before I delve into all of the news that's going on, is anyone working on any current projects or any announcements or anything that they want to talk about before we delve into stuff? John or Jarrett, you're welcome to join in, or Bowen. Oh,
I do have some new work that I just submitted to the Klamath Art Association today.
okay.
And as of September 6th, I'll have a couple more pieces in the Ross Ragland Theater on display for 6 weeks there.
Fantastic. So they'll be up in time for our film festival then.
Right. Yeah.
Terrific.
So that's all I've got going.
Great.
David, have you been working on anything, or Bowen? No? Okay. How about John and Jared? I know, Jared, you're still in full promotional mode for Maxie, but are you planning your next film shoot yet?
I have a short film I'm going to be working on, which is it's more of an episodic. It's a horror themed 20-minute episodic. So we'll see how that goes. Casting it now, and then looking for some talent behind the camera as well.
Okay, fantastic. John, have you been working on anything?
Not lately. Just still trying to learn more music stuff.
Sure. Totally understandable. Howard, anything? No. Okay. That's okay. Well, we have a ton of news, Klamath Film related. The first of all thing, Jarrett, this might shock you. We're looking for a new executive director.
Oh, wow.
I
going?
I kind of got headhunted for 3 different jobs that were all fighting over me. And ultimately, I have accepted a position to head up a video department with Klamath Community College. That position will basically mean that I get paid a lot of money to make film all day. So I'm not going to complain about that.
No.
But it does mean that I can't do the executive director position at the same time. So we are actively looking for someone who has an interest in leading a nonprofit organization. There is a board of directors involved, so you're not on an island by yourself. And we're also looking for board members too. We can have up to 13. We currently have 9. So that position has been posted. It is listed effective October 1st, and it is a paid position. So if anyone is interested, it would involve grant writing, balancing budgets, delegating out work, doing a lot of meetings during the day. But you're not alone. There's a lot of support behind you, and we're focusing on trying to make sure that there's even more support than there was for me, because I have a tendency to kind of do everything. So that's just kind of me. So that's the thing that's happening. We have in our bylaws, our board of directors members serve 3-year terms. But in addition, we have 2 positions that are single-year terms that are elected by our active members. That election is held every October. So we're currently accepting nominations. If you are an active member and if you're interested in possibly serving on the board for 1 year, the idea is that these are direct voices of our active membership. So if someone has a concern or a question, that they can go to these individuals and they'll get readdressed by the board and the executive director and all that. So I'll have more information going out to all of the active members via email about that soon. We have spent this year over $10,000 on new professional equipment. One great advantage of being a Klamath Film member is that for $25 a year, you can check out any of our equipment for free. And there's no timetable on return. Just know if you break it, you bought it for us. But we continue to invest through grants, trying to fill whatever gaps for what we think people may need to be able to do their own productions. If they have an idea for a film, but they don't have high-end cameras or microphones or lights or backdrops or anything. So every year we will add to our ongoing collection. We have a full inventory list that I'm happy to email out to people, but $25 a year, and then you can check out whatever you want. So here's some of the new stuff that we got. Some microphones, a Steadicam, a Rodecaster Pro, generator, wireless HDMI, an A10 Mini for live streaming. We got a generator that we put to use for a couple of times for like Saturday market and Third Thursday events. Different microphones. There's a Rode Wireless Go set up there, a couple of Rode Pod mics. So we have a pretty vast collection. It's also stuff that gets checked out anytime a film production comes to our area. So when like any of the 4 films that have come through, if they're looking for something specific, we're always happy to loan stuff out for productions. We have a couple of cinema quality cameras. So we got some Blackmagic Pocket Cinemas as with some nice lenses and whatnot. So if you have an idea for a story, but you don't have the equipment, let me know and we'll help you out. We just finished off a really fun annual event, which is a student film camp. So every July for a week, we take over the Ross Raglan and we teach middle school and high school kids how to make films. All of our kids this year did an incredible job. None of them had ever made a film before. Few of them had ever even picked up a camera or thought of a script or anything. And in a week's time, we taught them all the basics of script writing, story development, camera operations, audio, editing. And what was really fun was every single day we ended our camp with a featured guest from Hollywood. So our first day we had a Hollywood screenwriter, second day we had a producer, third day we had an actor, fourth day we had a director, and fifth day we had an editor, all in the Hollywood film industry. About half an hour to talk to them about what they do. So we held a special showcase on August 22nd at the Ross Raglan that was free. There is a recording of that entire showcase of all of the student films that were created. We had 5 student films out of our 15 camp participants that finished films in time for the showcase. Incredibly proud of all of the kids for their efforts. One of them got picked for a $100 cash prize and inclusion in this year's Klamath Independent Film Festival. So they will be part of our K-12 film camp. And I wanted to show their film here tonight. So this will be the first film that starts off on Sunday during our film festival. This is a film called Monday by Jonas Southwell. It's only it's about 2 minutes long. He made it with his family, like most of our filmmakers did. He had never picked up a camera before our film camp and was able to put this together, which our board voted on as being the best one. And I think he did an incredible job. So Jared and John, if you can't hear this, let me know. I think I have the audio set up right, but it may come through only as picture. But here is Monday by Jonas Southwell.
Really, Dad?
It was Sunday. I love it. That was good.
Well done.
So there's Jonas with his award. First time filmmaker in middle school. And I think he did an absolutely extraordinary job on that. And we had 4 other films that students also made that they all really tried super hard on. So very, very proud of those kids. So the film camp's done. We also did a group project together that we shot at the Ross Raglan. The kids all chipped in on the script, and then they were all part of crew, and I made sure they all had a role in the film, except we had a fire at the Raglan in the middle of filming. And so we had to evacuate the facility and cut the script short because parents were coming to pick up kids. So we had to kind of amend it. And then we lost half of the footage from one of our cameras. So I was able to piece the film together, but it's a film that has no ending. So it's kind of like, think of it like Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail. It just has this weird, absurd ending that just kind of comes out of nowhere. Same sort of thing. So MacGuffin is the name of the film, and it will play Sunday morning immediately following Jonas's film. So those 2 films will be at 10:30 on Sunday, September 19th. I do have MacGuffin loaded. We will we'll show it at the end here after we go through stuff.
For September 2022. MacGuffin 2.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if maybe for next year's film camp if we can do a full MacGuffin. By the way, for those who don't know, MacGuffin is a film term that Alfred Hitchcock made famous, and it's the thing that motivates the character to embark on their journey, and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, doesn't really matter what it is. It's just the thing that causes them to get up and actually go embark on their story arc. With that, we have a film festival upcoming soon. This is our 9th year of it. It started off as a 1-day event. It's now a 3-day event, along with a hybrid online campaign that we had people all over the country watch it last year, which is great. Some of the film productions we had this year is a direct result of last year's festival, because with the online side, we tie in a Come Film in Klamath ad campaign. So through pre-rolls, people can get a sense of the location and what we offer. We are showing 47 films this year, which is the most we have ever shown. So we are starting earlier each day than we ever have. We have reduced the length of our in-person Q&As to pack in more films. And still with that, we had 2 films left over that we just could not shoehorn into the main screen. So we're going to have, during our Friday Street Festival kickoff party, televisions and TVs in the lobby and TVs outside that will actually be showing 2 films additionally that we picked but couldn't find time within the schedule to fit them in. We thought these 2 films would be good conversation starters that you can have like a passive viewing of. One is a music video called Strut, and the other is a loving shot-by-shot remake of Back to the Future Part 2. That was split into 88 different scenes for obvious reasons, the number 88, because everyone knows Back to the Future and the connotation for that. And the 88 scenes were split up to film crews all over the world. Anyone could claim a scene out of the 88 in the early days of COVID and film it however you wanted to. So it's a very crazy, loving tribute to the Back to the Future series. But 1 second it'll be stop motion animation, the next it's kids in a kitchen, the next it's fully drawn animation, the next it's people in crazy, so it bounces from scene to scene. But because everyone knows the film, you can still kind of follow what's going on. So it's a shot by shot remake of Back to the Future Part 2. We will be doing Friday night from 5 to 7 a street festival with food trucks, a beer garden. We'll have virtual reality games set up in the lobby. We'll have music courtesy of Retro Room Records, the new vinyl record shop that just opened up here in town, outside. And then from 6 to 7 on the big screen. Last year, we did a virtual kickoff party for the filmmakers who couldn't travel. So we did just basically like a big giant Zoom call up on the big screen, and allowed all the filmmakers who couldn't be there in person the chance to talk about their films, meet some of the other filmmakers, get a chance to network. That was a huge success. So we're going to do that from 6 to 7, and then 7 to about 7:15-ish, we'll have opening announcements by me. And then 7:15 to 9, we're showing a film, Meek's Cutoff. Meek's Cutoff was filmed a decade ago around the Burns area. It is a Western by Kelly Reichert. Now, when Kelly made it, she was an unknown director. Now she's a world famous director that was up for an Academy Award consideration this year. Her film First Cow got snubbed, but it should have probably been in for consideration. What's amazing about Kelly, she lives in New York, but almost every single film she's made, she shoots in Oregon. So she has this Oregon connection for whatever reason, even though she's based on the East Coast. So she made this Western film that got almost no distribution, but it has an incredible cast. Every actor is one of those where maybe you don't know the name, but you see the face and you're like, oh, it's that guy who was in that thing. And he's been in 1,000 other things on top of that. In fact, I want to test your knowledge a little bit later. I'll show you some of the actors' faces, and no Google cheating, to see who can actually nail it. But we will be doing, after the film, a cast reunion. So from 9 to 10, we're still working on confirming some of the actors, but we have a few confirmed, as well as the screenwriter will be joining us for a 10th anniversary reunion of the making of that film to talk to us. So that should be tons of fun. I want to show the trailer for KIF real quick.
That's me, Kate.
Really? Going there now? A lot of people ask me what happened.
I don't have cancer. I was born in Santiago de Chile.
Beautiful soul and speed. You say without language, teach up the tip.
Imagine everything in a home. Now burn it.
What is Go Yoga?
Go yoga. And as I was heading home, I received a text of a big cloud of smoke.
For my helpless sight plunges at me.
How was that all about? I don't know. I guess that old man tried to bury that.
Everything I'm trying to do with and for this community.
I want to climb Mount Hood because I want to be a part of a team of peer climbers.
So there you go. And there is our schedule. If you can read that, very packed schedule. Jarrett's film Maxi shows at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, followed by a Q&A afterwards that we'll do on stage. Jarrett, last time I talked to him, said he was still planning on coming down. So hopefully we'll be able to do things on stage. 47 films in all we are showing. So it is a jam-packed schedule. This schedule is available up on our website, and there's more details on klamathfilm.org about each film. There's full trailers up there as well. But it's a very eclectic mix. We don't have a theme to our festival. Like a lot of festivals will be either comedy or animation or horror, or they try to fit within a particular style. We take anything and everything as long as it's made in Oregon.
Yeah, the theme is Oregon.
Yep. And I was really concerned about our films this year because of COVID, and the fact that our other restriction is that you had to have still been at least working on the film by January 1, 2020. No, so we don't take any super old films. Meek's Cutoff is the exception, 10th anniversary of it. But everything else, you could have maybe shot it before the pandemic hit, but you had to have still been editing or making little tweaks to it for it to still be eligible for submission. We got the second most film submissions we have ever had for our film festival, which once...
What's the breakdown of that in terms of short films versus feature films?
There are 6 feature films and 41 shorts.
No, in terms of submissions.
Oh, in terms of submissions, less than 50% of the submissions got picked.
Okay.
So I forget the exact amount, but it was in triple digits of submissions, and we ended up with 47, and we had to cram to get those 47 in. The last year we showed, I want to say 38 films. So maybe 37 or 38 films. And this year we decided that we would reduce the length of our Q&As so that we could fit more films in. One nice benefit was that we got more animation this year than what we usually get. And I think that's a result of people being stuck at home with nothing to do, and animation was the one thing people could work on from home. But I tip my hat to all the filmmakers, whether they were selected or not, just for being able to make a film during the pandemic with all of the added restrictions. Jarrett can talk about it in more detail with his film Maxi, as far as all of the added precautions and added measures and whatnot that you had to go through. You want to give the bullet points of what you had to deal with just to be able to shoot your film?
Sure. So we started shooting February 15th of 2020. And, the shutdown came right at the end of February into early March. And we were 2 weeks in. Fortunately for us, we really were shooting in chronological order. So those first few scenes are pretty barren as it is. There's only a couple characters really in those scenes, so it was no big deal. But moving on from there, there were larger scenes with larger cast that needed a downtown that was populated, things of that nature. We had a bar scene, which was again populated. So I had to go back and rewrite about, I would say, 2/3 of the remaining script and incorporate COVID and explain why the town is deserted and eliminate quite a few characters so that we could trim down the amount of people on the set and work with the social distancing rules and the masking rules and all the other things that went along with it.
Yeah.
So it was an adventure.
It's a huge undertaking just to make a film in general, much less to make a film with all these added precautions that they have to go through to adhere to. So, hey, I was really surprised by the number of submissions that we got and really enthused about the quality of the films that we got. We have a really eclectic mix. So if you love horror, we have a couple horror films. If you love animation, we've got those. We've got student films. We've got dramas. We've got some great comedies. We've got some fantastic documentaries. It runs the game. We don't have, I guess the only thing that we're missing is we don't necessarily have a lot of like sci-fi or like super explodey action films. We had a few action films that got submitted, but they didn't make the final cut because every single one of these films goes through a rigorous judging process. We have 3 different tiers of judges. So there's an initial screeners group, and then we average out their scores and then cut out the lowest scoring films. Then we have a selection committee that meets and debates every single remaining film to determine what gets in. So that was a 6-hour-long Zoom call to determine our entire lineup. And then we have a panel of awards judges who are Hollywood industry individuals who watch all of the remaining films, provide scores, and that determines our winners across the 6 categories that we have. So we have we split it geographically. So Northern and Southern Oregon for K through 12 films, shorts, which is 40 minutes and under, and feature-length films over 40 minutes. So six total categories, Northern and Southern, for those three things. What would be our awards? We've also doubled our prize money this year, so we're giving out $5,000 in cash prizes this year. So on that note, tickets are now on sale. Now, anyone who submitted a film, whether you got picked or not, gets complimentary passes, and we have an online access pass. So for $40, you get every film on demand along with exclusive Q&As, and that stays open from September 17th through the 26th. So we're encouraging everyone who's traveling out of town, or even if you're in town but you don't want to sit in the theater for 12 hours a day each day, get out and explore town. If you have an online pass, you can go back and watch whatever you want on demand instantly. You won't miss anything. We will also live stream everything that we do on stage. So we will live stream and archive all of our Q&As, our awards ceremony, our kickoff party, all of that will still be accessible. So we want folks like Jarrett and a lot of our other filmmakers are planning on traveling. We have 43 total filmmakers this year. A few people got 2 films in. Of those 43, 30 to 35 of them are planning to travel to Klamath, which is fantastic. That tells me, one, not a lot of festivals have been in person in quite a while, and everyone wants to get out and actually see their film on a big screen.
Correct.
Probably Jared included in on that measure. And 2, it's cool that we do a Made in Oregon only film fest. So it's an opportunity for all of the filmmakers from different regions of Oregon to get together, get a chance to network, meet, mingle, and see what people have been working on. But we also want people to get out in the community and explore our sponsors. This year, everyone who comes in, whether you're a volunteer, board member, filmmaker, or you're buying a ticket, you get a lanyard. That lanyard gets you a discount in town at Holiday Market, Dutch Brothers, everybody's vintage and retro room records. So during our festival, if you want to get out and explore and shop, we encourage you to do so, and you'll get a discount just by walking around with your KIF lanyard. We're selling passes for individual days. A weekend pass will be Saturday and Sunday. A full festival pass all 3 days will also get you on-demand access. And if you are a Klamath Film member, you get 50% off. So a full access would only be $25. Membership is only $25. So it makes sense to just become a member, and then you get the membership benefits, and you'd still get a full pass in anyway. So with that comes the next question that's been coming up, which is COVID protocols. We've been closely monitoring. Now, Klamath, we've been really lucky, right? Currently there's only 22 hospitalized cases countywide, and there's 90 total cases that have been documented by Klamath Health. We will be doing temperature checks at the door. Masks are required unless you're eating or drinking. And we strongly encourage, but won't require, either proof of vaccination or having a negative COVID test done within the previous 72 hours. If you can, please get a COVID test done before you show up. Our numbers here in Klamath are low, and they have remained low throughout the pandemic, but we are bringing people from Portland, Eugene, Medford, Bend, areas where the Delta variant is exploding. So yes, I carry my vaccine card around my neck. David has his in his pocket. If you've been vaccinated, great. If you have not been vaccinated, please go get swabbed and show up at the door with a negative COVID test, because the last thing that I have a lot of the filmmakers asking me what our numbers are and saying they're not sure if they want to come. And I get that because of the way that the numbers are right now in Portland and Bend and Eugene and Medford. Our numbers are low. I would like to keep it that way. But I also want to invite people from all over the state to come join us for this weekend. So please, and I'll be doing it too, go get swabbed. And yeah, and we'll have a temperature check at the door. We'll do contact tracing at the door, and we ask that you please wear masks. We're not going to mandate it. I know Brit Fest and Bend Film Festival are both mandating it. We're going to say just the strongest possible urgency. Please don't be that guy. Just just please go get swabbed before you show up at the theater. Yes. So in the theater seats 785 people. We will be blocking off rows, and we will be separating people out inside. So we're doing our best. The theater also will be cleaning just about every hour on the hour. They will have a cleaning crew coming through to do the bathrooms and doors and whatnot. We will be drowning in sanitizer at the theater. Just do your part to help out and make sure all of our people who are traveling, I'm sure, will appreciate it. I know it's a very political topic, but just don't be that person that kind of spoils things for everybody else. So if you absolutely refuse to wear a mask, and if you refuse to get tested, great, get an online pass and watch from home, because you'll be able to see all the films on demand at your leisure from home. I think all of our traveling filmmakers will appreciate it. Right, Jarrett?
Absolutely.
So
real.
I will send out an email about that to everyone, and we'll have that as a printed policy at the door. We want people to come to the theater and join us, but if you're going to be a jerk about it, please buy an online pass instead.
Good policy.
We do have some current needs that are ongoing. One, obviously, we need an executive director going forward. We need nominations for our board. And Joyce and Howard in particular, we are actively building a virtual location directory that we're going to put up on our website for Klamath County. The idea of that is that we're trying to attract more film productions to our area. So if we can present to directors and producers and film studios different landscapes, different buildings, different locales, anything and everything within Klamath County, we're trying to collect as many photographs as we can. So yeah, just photos. I've been going around and doing a lot of drone footage of different areas, and we continue to build that. Court, who I'm surprised is not on this call. I don't know, maybe he took a nap. He's the one who's building it. And he said we need as much data as we can for it. So the more, even if it's just generic buildings around town, even if it's just your cell phone, please take photos of different locations and email them to me. Just info at Klamath Film. And I'll continue to add.
To bombard you with two.
No. Send me send me
thousands.
Yeah, no. We want variety though, not 1,000 photos of the same thing, but we want, and we're going to build in demographics into that, contact information for people. The idea being that we want to make it as easy as possible on directors and film producers to be able to come here and know what they're getting out of coming here. So if you have that, and then also we need volunteers. David has already volunteered. You two are going to be on photo duty, and we appreciate that. Bowen, I know your schedule is kind of.
I have free time for the whole festival.
Oh, great. Great.
I got my travel finalized. I'll be back by Thursday.
Okay.
So that means that I'll be back on Thursday, and then boom, after work on Friday, or I might not even have work on Friday.
Okay.
I can have like essentially like a leisure day after the full week of travel.
Right.
And then that's why I can just work all 3 days of the festival.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have the lanyards just for the volunteers. We're asking if you're going to volunteer to do 2 4-hour shifts during the course of the weekend, and then you'll get a full access pass as well as online for the entire festival. We need at least one person Friday night who has a serving license from the state of Oregon to run our beer garden. We need at least one person who is CPR certified that we're still trying to track down so that we can, that's a requirement from the city's street closure and event requirements. So we need someone that is actively certified. So we're still looking for that. And then we need people to check temperatures at the door, take tickets. We'll be selling t-shirts at the festival. And then to just kind of help with keeping people separated in the theater, I need at least one person to help me with the live streaming as well. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I already have a few volunteers lined up, but if you are able to help out, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
How long does it take to get CPR certified?
I don't know. I need to look into that. There is possibly one person in the Raglan Guild, but it's a matter of if they're available or not. So we're
4 hours. Longest I think is 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do CPR and child CPR.
Right. So there's our poster for the festival. Hopefully you've seen it around town because I put 150 of them up in windows, and there's some here on the table as well.
Put up the banner across.
Yep, and there's also a banner across Main Street right now.
But did you put that up, or
the city puts that up.
Okay.
I don't personally put that up, but I delivered it to them. Yeah,
I saw that as I was driving through. It's like, wow, Kurt, you're really on top of it.
Yeah. So hopefully people at least are aware of the festival. We've got articles running. We're all over social media. We'll have a whole Facebook and Instagram campaign that launches here shortly. And these posters are up in businesses all over town. So, and there's tons of information on our website, klamathfilm.org, as well as the Eventive site. So yeah, hopefully we'll have that up. So Meek's Cutoff is going to be our feature lead film. Kelly Reichert directed film. It's a Western that was shot out by Burns, and it got almost no distribution when it was released, but Kelly Reichert now is getting so much attention that it may get a re-release. So we wanted to profile this film, and some of the actors that are in it are on screen. So I guarantee that you recognize those faces, but does anyone know the names? That is not China Phillips, but that's a good guess. The actress on the left has been nominated for the Academy Award 4 times, and she plays the lead role. Jared or John, any guesses?
Not one.
Okay, but
on the lower right, that's
he's that guy who was in that thing, right?
Also,
yep. So every single one of these 3 actors that you see on screen star in the film, and each one of them have over 100 IMDb credits.
Wow.
TV and film. All three of them, you may not know the name, but let's get a head nod to confirm you recognize the face as that guy who was in that thing, or that woman who was in that thing.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy in the bottom right definitely does Star Trek. Yeah, the guy above him, the younger kid, looks familiar, but I can't place him.
You might know him from films like There Will Be Blood, Cowboys and Aliens. He was in. He was in The Good Heart. He was in. These are guys that appear in a new film like every 2 or 3 months. So yeah, it's that guy who's in that thing. And the girl on the left you would know from films like Dick, that she co-starred in along with Kirsten Dunst. She's been nominated, like I said, 4 times for the Academy Award for best actress or best supporting actress. So tons of things. So if no one has guesses, there you go on the names: Michelle Williams, Bruce Greenwood, and Paul Dano. And then a fourth right there is another one of guess the actor as that guy who was in that thing. Any thoughts on that one? The guy on the left there.
Definitely seen him a lot of times, but I don't know his name though either. Dang.
That guy who was in that thing, right, David? You might know him from West Wing. You would know him from Remember the Titans. You would know him from what was that asteroid movie with Bruce Willis? Armageddon.
Armageddon. Yeah, I was thinking I've seen him in sci-fi. That's what I was thinking. Has he done other sci-fi than that though?
Yes.
I was thinking that he did.
Yeah, he co-starred. Yep. So his name is Will Patton. So Will Patton, Paul Dano, Bruce Greenwood, Michelle Williams. We're working on confirming all of them for the cast reunion, but we have some of the supporting actors as well. Zoe Kazan, Tommy Nelson, the screenwriter John Raymond has confirmed. Kelly Reichert is unfortunately in the middle of editing her next film, so she will not be able to join us, but she sends her best regards. So we'll have a bunch of the actors from the film. We'll have a whole bunch of those, oh, you're that guy who was in that thing, actors to talk to on Friday night from 9 to 10 after we watch the film that they were in. So hopefully be there Friday night to join us for that. It should be lots of fun. We did a cast reunion back in February for Phoenix, Oregon, when we unveiled the historic marker for that film after it was shot here in 2018. David's were recognized. Basically, anyone who was a Klamath Film member in 2018 is an extra in Phoenix, Oregon. And the cool story with that film is of course, that got released to theaters nationally March of 2020, the week that every theater in the country got shut down. The odds of that are astronomical, but they did an online release. And because they did an online release, they were the only film in the country that registered domestic box office numbers. So by default, they were the #1 movie in America and also the lowest grossing #1 film in history. So because of that, we got a historic marker that's downtown out in front of the Daily Bagel that recognized the film. And so in February, we did a cast reunion and we showed that at the Ragland. We got Jesse Borrego. We got the director, Gary Lundgren. We got a couple of the other actors. Jesse is another one of those. Oh, that's that guy who's been in that thing 1,000 times over. One of the most famous Latino actors around. James Legault was not able to join us. Diedrich we talked to, but he couldn't join us. He was filming American Housewife at the time. But we got a few of the actors involved, and that was super fun. So I'm hoping that the Meeks Cutoff thing is going to be a lot of fun as well. Some of the posters for our feature films, Project 88 is the Back to the Future project that I was talking about. Love and Dangerous Times will be our first. That's actually the wrong time on there. It's supposed to say 10:30. I just noticed that. So Love and Dangerous Times will kick off things on Saturday morning. That's a film about trying to date during the COVID pandemic. dating is already awkward enough, and then you throw a pandemic in on top of that. So it's a good romantic comedy to kick off our day. The producer of that film, Steve Gardner, is actually from Klamath Falls, but it was shot in Portland. Youth v. Gov is a documentary about kids all over the U.S., but primarily in Eugene, got together to sue the federal government over climate change and inaction of climate change. Very well done film. Jared probably remembers, because I certainly remember some of the gatherings that were happening outside of the Eugene courthouse.
Yes.
that were involved with that court. Then the court case is still ongoing at this time, but 29 kids from across the U.S. gathered together, and in Eugene, they sued the federal government over inaction of over climate change. And so that documentary is all about their ongoing actions with that. Some of the other films, Who's on Top is a documentary by the Glenn Close of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Devin Tao has had a film in our festival for the last 5 years in a row and has never won. So he's our Glenn Close equivalent of our awards, but he made this amazing documentary that is about a collection of LGBTQ residents in Portland who decide to all collectively climb Mount Hood. And the metaphor is obvious of, overcoming mental and physical stigmas and acceptance and adversity and all of that while trying to climb a big giant mountain that people die on every single year trying to hike. So that documentary will run Saturday afternoon. And Devin, who made it, is LGBTQ, and he got George Takei to narrate the film. So absolute, not just icon of film and TV, but also an LGBTQ icon, is the narrator of that film. Two Below Zero is a comedy that we will run late Saturday night. It is about a guy whose wife has just left him, and he moves to, it's supposed to be in Canada, but they shot it in the Bend Redmond area. And his new girlfriend is actually a mannequin. But there's a couple of women in town who are obsessed over who the new guy is and who is they think his wife is. It's funny. It's worth a watch. It's also short. It's only 48 minutes long as a feature-length film. So we will run that Saturday night. What you don't see up there is a poster for the film Maxi, Jarrett.
Did you receive it in the mail as of yet?
Not yet, but though I did not check the P.O. box today. But Jared made a feature-length film and forgot to make a poster for his film. So,
yes. Well, I have a poster, the one that's right behind me, but it's not to the specs for your poster board. So I sent you another one.
Yep.
Probably have it today or tomorrow.
So there are posters that are up in the Ross Ragland lobby right now. We did 24 by 36 posters for each of our feature-length films. And we will give away some of those posters during the festival. That's another thing. Jared will want you to sign one of those, because one thing we try to do is with each of our feature films, we do a feature length, or we do a 24 by 36 framed poster. We get the filmmakers to sign them, and then we do a little giveaway during the Q&As for each one.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of a fun little added thing for the audience involved.
Yeah.
So one other thing, and we just secured this today. We have some one of our sponsors is a store in town called Everybody's Vintage. Hopefully everyone local knows it. Very cool store that does like retro throwback stuff, and they got their hands on working 16 millimeter fully functional 1960s era cameras. So for filmmakers that are ever looking to get that vintage look, I know there's a lot of effects in your plugins and whatnot, and in After Effects and Final Cut and Premiere. But if you want that authentic, true 1960s camera look, one camera is valued at $1,000. The other camera is valued at $750. They are giving those to us on commission to try to sell at the film festival. So we will have them on display in the lobby. And also they're going to donate a portion of that sale to the film festival if we do sell them. Now, in addition to those cameras, if you love retro throwback stuff, when you get your lanyard for the film festival, you will get 20% off anything inside Everybody's Vintage. Just show up with your lanyard, 20% off. Same thing at Retro Room Records. So if you're a collector of vinyl records, we have this amazing new record store in town that I can't compliment enough. They're doing an amazing job. Go down there, check them out. They'll give you a discount. And then you'll also get free coffee, free breakfast on Saturday at the Daily Bagel, and discounted breakfast on Sunday at the Klamath Grill. So and also a TBD discount at Holiday Market next door. So if you're at the theater and you're starving and concessions just aren't cutting it, walk 1 block away and they've got the deli and everything there, and you'll get a discount.
What is the in-house bus riding that's going to be offering as a way?
They will have concessions. We will have goodie bags that include candy and popcorn, but it's basically what it was last year, David. And I'm sorry about that. That's just kind of the way the theater rolls. But your lanyard gets you discounts over at the Holiday Market. So
sometimes they were selling popcorn, sometimes they weren't.
Right. Yeah, I know they've been kind of weird about that. If sometimes they're doing popcorn, sometimes we don't. We'll have 300 goodie bags. So first 300 people in attendance will get free popcorn and free candy there, and then it's 1 block to Holiday Market to go get a sandwich or some food, and you'll get a discount with your lanyard. To pack in as many films as we can, there are 0 breaks, but from 10:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night each day. So if you want to go get some food, absolutely go get some food, and then go check out the films that you missed online.
So pick what films you're willing to part with momentarily.
Yes.
We do this every single year. They like, oh, we should have did this. I got overruled, but they don't. It's a long time for people to be in one place.
And I completely agree, and that's why there's the online access, where if you can't be in a theater from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., I completely understand. That is a long time to sit in a theater. We will be doing activities nonstop though from 10:30 until 8 p.m. That's why the online access, and it's open until September 26th. So if you want to step away, go check out some other things. We will archive all of the Q&As. We will live stream all of the Q&As with the online pass from 1 a.m. Friday morning on. Before we even open the theater, you can watch whatever films you want. So if you want to plan, okay, I'll be at the theater for 4 hours that day, and then I'm going to go home and get some food. Okay, then all those films that you're going to miss, you can watch online. Or you can pick and choose which things that you want to see in the theater versus what you want to see online. So I fully expect to have people coming and going throughout the entire weekend. And I understand we don't have breaks built in because we wanted to squeeze as many films in. We have so many great. If we built in breaks, it means that we're cutting certain number of films out of the festival. And
so there's going to be descriptions of all the films so you can
they're already online. Yeah.
You had to click on them or something?
Yeah. So klamathfilm.org has a breakdown of every film and some of the trailers. And then the Eventive site that we link to from Klamath Film, where all of the streaming takes place on Eventive, has a breakdown of every single film as well.
Okay.
And it'll give you the time length. And then when you watch the film online, it'll have a pre-roll of an introduction from the filmmaker, the film, and then it immediately goes into a Q&A with the filmmaker talking about the film. For our feature films, we build in the schedule on Saturday, a Q&A for each filmmaker of our feature-length films. For our shorts, we will do block Q&As where we show maybe 5 or 6 films. Then we'll invite all of those filmmakers up at once to talk for a Q&A.
And the lunch trucks are only there for Friday night only.
Yes. Yeah, just Friday night is when we're gonna have the food trucks there. So we've got the mac and cheese truck and Sarita tacos are going to be there, and we'll also have a beer garden courtesy of Skyline Brewing.
Just Friday.
Just Friday night. Yep. With that, I want to give time for people to talk about projects or get a chance to talk about whatever. I'm sure Jarek would love to talk more about his film. But one last thing, and that is our awards. I know Jared is very interested in this because he has a film in the festival. So these are last year's awards. I get the awards delivered to me tomorrow morning. So I have not seen what our awards are. I know who our winners are, and that's top secret. So only myself, our board, and the woodcrafters know who our winners are. But starting last year, we decided that since we're the Made in Oregon Film Festival, we wanted to do something to kind of brand that. So we decided, what if, because every festival has a standard either plaque or little trophy that they give out, and it's all the same thing, but they change out the names on the plaque. We thought, okay, Made in Oregon, it should be a wood thing that our trophies are, because Oregon. And then, so we have an amazing group of they're called the Southern Cascade Woodcrafters Guild here in town. They do incredible work. If you've ever been to the Sagebrush Rendezvous, or if you go to things like Third Thursday or other select events, they will bring out some of their work. And it's a group like Klamath Film that all have a passion for wood carving, wood crafting, lathe work, and whatnot. And so last year we recruited them for the first time to say, could you make our trophies? And they said, well, we'll do it, but only if we can make each trophy unique to the winning film. So every award is a one-of-a-kind art piece that is specific to the film. So like you'll see, one of our winners last year was a stop-motion film about witches. And so we have two trophies there. One has a witch's hat, and the other is like a dagger going through a pentagram. So they made things based on witches. One of our winning films last year was a documentary about a composting toilet on top of Mount Shasta and the people who maintain it. And so on the far left there, you can see a giant outhouse that was someone's trophy. We had a zombie film win last year. So you can see there's one that was a
category. It's the something specific about that film.
Yeah. So it's built specific to the film.
The crafters don't show us what it's going to look like. It's like we give them the list. Do they watch the film?
I show them either a trailer or a snippet of the film, and then they go off for about a month and a half and
then they
come
create
up with
it, and we don't see it till it's delivered.
Yeah. So tomorrow morning is when they're delivering to me all of the awards. So I'll photograph and video all of them. For any filmmakers who aren't attending in person, I'll mail those out so they can record a little acceptance thing. But the most amazing one, it's kind of behind there, but there's one that looks like a castle. Last year, our K through 12 student winner was a 6-year-old in Ashland, and she made a stop motion animated film called The Sandcastle, and it was absolutely adorable. And so her award was covered in seashells and sand, and the lid came off, so it was like a jewelry box that opened up. So I am really excited to see what they came up with for our 6 winners this year. I'm not telling who won. But we'll have those awards, and we will give those out Sunday night at 6:00 at the Ross Ragland. But all of them, once again, will be hand carved, custom made by the Southern Cascade Woodcrafters Guild. So with that, let me show you what the woodcrafters do.
My name's Ed Selig. I'm a member of the Southern Cascades Woodcrafters Guild. Our members made the trophies for this year's festival winners. Wood is the primary focus of the Guild, but we're also involved in many community projects. For the International Migratory Bird Day held in Veterans Park, we have work groups that prefab about 300 birdhouses for kids to build. The kids love it, the parents love it. We have built cabinets for Habitat for Humanity. At Christmas, we make toys for kids and gifts to those in senior care facilities. The purpose of the group is to share ideas and techniques about almost everything related to wood. We even go out into the community when somebody has a tree they want cut. We do it for the wood. Our monthly meetings feature show and tell projects that members made or completed in the last month. We often have demonstrations of woodworking technique, which includes planning, building, sanding, or finishing. Members' interests vary, but include furniture making, carving, toy making, scroll saws, and lathe projects. I came to this group after buying a lathe over 20 years ago and not knowing how to use it. With the help of a number of members and club demonstrations, I did learn how to use the lathe and a lot more. I also learned carving skills, scroll saw, along with many other techniques. When we were first approached to make themed trophies for the festival winners, members took it up as a challenge. They watched the movies or trailers for inspiration and chose a theme to work on. The film festival makes the final choice for each category, and we congratulate all the winners.
Yes.
So they've been working hard for the last, I don't know, month and a half or so on our trophies. And like I said, they're delivering them to me around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's a super exciting time every year to see what they came up with. So I'm excited to see that. And of course, every trophy also comes with a cash prize, which is, $1
million?
It would be great. We're giving out $5,000 total in cash prizes, but every festival has their standard plaque or whatnot. And for films that make the rounds, they end up with a whole stack of little trophies, which is great and all. But usually the filmmakers are more interested in the prize money that they walk away with. Last year's award winners, all of them have been in touch and say that it is like the centerpiece of all of their collections of awards, especially the one who won the outhouse. They say that is the ultimate conversation starter. Anytime someone visits them, they immediately want to know, why do you have an outhouse on your coffee table? So it
put that one in the bathroom.
Yeah. So it's something that I think is cool, and it makes us kind of stand out from the crowd and kind of further brands us as the Made in Oregon Film Festival. I don't know, honestly, if anyone else is doing this. I know some places do like really cool custom trophies, but I think they do the same trophy across the board. I don't know, Jared, I don't know how many festivals you've taken Maxie to, but it is, I think it's somewhat unique to us, and hopefully something that gets filmmakers excited about it.
No, it absolutely is unique. I mean, otherwise it's the generic trophy with the reel of film or the statuette of a woman holding up a camera or what have you. That's pretty much it. And laurels, of course.
Right.
Certificates.
Lots and lots of certificates and laurels. So not saying that Maxie won, but if Maxie won, I'm really curious to see what they would come up with, because we haven't had a chance to talk about your film and what it's about, but basically it's about two homeless teens in Eugene who are drug addicts trying to get clean. So if Maxie won, hopefully it wouldn't be like a needle or a meth pipe or something, or
yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing.
Yeah. My mind doesn't go that dark usually.
Right. Yeah, and again, I have zero say in what they make for trophies, and I'm not saying that you won, but as a selected film, you are in the collective running of potentially winning. So, some of the winners, it's a little more obvious what they should make, and some of them kind of came back to me and said, do you have any ideas of what we should do for this? So
a token.
Yeah. So I don't know, Jared, what do you think would be an acceptable trophy for your film?
Wow.
That's a really obscure question.
Probably the car, the little Hot Wheel car.
Okay.
That would probably be acceptable.
Yeah, so some of them, films, of course, can get a little abstract, or they can get very experimental, and so I commend the woodcrafters, because not only are they great at at wood carving, but they were also really imaginative last year. And so I'm excited to see what they come up with this year.
Was last year the first year we did that?
Last year was the first year that we did that, and it went over so well that we want to keep doing it year in, year out. Maybe even get like a sponsorship for the woodcrafters, so they have added incentive of like some prize for them. Because with some of the films last year, we got multiple trophies, and so it was up to the board to pick which trophy we wanted to pick to give out to the filmmaker. And some of the woodcrafters came back to us and said, I was hoping my trophy wouldn't get picked because I kind of wanted to keep it. So, yeah.
Runner-ups designs done?
Sorry, what?
Even the runner-ups got designs?
No, only the category winners. The runner-ups get checks, but only the category winners in the 6 categories get a carved trophy.
But did you submit to them ideas ahead of time?
I gave them a recommended list when I gave them basically a DVD, and it had the 6 winners, snippets of those films or trailers, and I threw in recommendations of initial ideas of this film is about this. Here's some initial thoughts of directions you could go in for trophies, but ultimately it's totally up to them of what they want to design and make. So they said around 9 a.m. they're coming by my house and dropping them off, and then I'll take photos and video and send that off to our board and all that. And then they remain under lock and key until Sunday night for our awards ceremony. So you got to stick around Sunday at 6. We will also live stream that. So we will live stream our awards if you don't want to be there in person. And some of the woodcrafters who made the trophies will also be there. So last year we got one of the woodcrafters. We got a photo op with the person who won and the woodcrafter that was in the video, and they immediately got how cool that was. So hopefully some of the other woodcrafters get a chance to be there and get to see their trophy getting passed off, and just the general excitement of the filmmakers receiving that.
Moonlight. Oops.
Oh yeah, no. Hopefully it's not a Warren Beatty Moonlight La La Land situation. Show up with the wrong trophy for someone. Like, yeah, here's a zombie head for your film about, a documentary about, whatever. It had nothing to do with zombies, but and I only say that because last year we had a zombie head as one of our trophies. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm no hints on winners, but if filmmakers can be there, that'd be great. Most of our filmmakers are traveling, so I'm strongly encouraging them to stick around through Sunday night.
Yeah, well, we'll be there all 3 days.
Yeah, and again, if Maxie wins, I have no idea what they would do for a trophy, because that is a really, really difficult thing to do. Let's do a film about drug addicted teens and make a trophy about it.
Did you make one for Frankenstein?
We did make one for Frankenstein last year. Yeah, that was our zombie head. Last year was the Frankenstein film.
Get to see that.
Jesse wants to come, and we want to do a screening. We were planning to do it for Comic-Con this year, which happens right before Halloween. But it sounds like the library is not going to do Comic-Con because of COVID. They didn't do it last year, and they're not going to do it again this year. They haven't 100% denied it, but it's like 99% denied. So I'm trying to line up a date on either a Friday the 13th or maybe around Halloween where we could do a screening of it, and we could have Jesse come down and do some kind of like puppetry workshop. For those who don't know, one of our feature-length films last year, we weren't actually able to show at the festival because the filmmaker was going through a distribution deal for it right before the festival. So it got picked, and it was actually one of our winners. And then because of the distribution deal, we couldn't show the film, but they still got the trophy. It is a insane, crazy, fun film that is basically a loving tribute to the 1930s and 40s Universal horror films: Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. So it's a
versus
but then also throw in like Jim Henson, Dark Crystal era Muppet like puppetry, and also all of it is a crazy comedy parody in like Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein. So it's Young Frankenstein comedy with classic horror tropes, but all done with like Dark Crystal style puppetry. So the entire film is done with puppets. And it took 7 years to make. It is insane. Blood and guts everywhere, but it's like cotton flying all over the place and all that. Super fun film, but we haven't been able to show it. And so we're working with the filmmaker to try to figure out a day when we can do that. He is dead set on, he will come to Klamath. He lives in Portland. He will come to Klamath, show the film, and do whatever we want to do as far as a workshop or displays or a puppetry, whatever. It's just we need to figure out a date for it.
It's Jim Henson's birthday.
I have no idea what Jim Henson's birthday is. That is a really random question to ask, David. I don't know everything.
It's the anniversary of Young Frankenstein when it was first came out.
Well, it came out in 72, 73 or 74, right? Yeah.
I was there.
So, yeah, it's a loving tribute to all of those old films and a parody at the same time, and all done with puppets. So people like David have been asking me every month, when are we going to show it? And I don't know when we're going to show it, but at some point I guarantee we will show that film. With that, that's everything that's going on with Klamath Film and everything that's going on with KIF. Anyone have any questions about the film festival before we kind of open it up? I have one more film that I wanted to show, but yeah.
Well, just for like volunteers working, is there like, I wouldn't say exactly a dress code, but like dress suggestions?
No, I mean,
Okay.
do whatever you want. It's going to be super casual. So
Okay.
yeah, don't feel like you have to dress up for the occasion unless you really want to.
Basically what you're wearing right now.
Yeah, you're probably overdressed at the moment. So we will have shirts for all of the volunteers.
Okay, so there's going to be a shirt.
Yes. So this year we made shirts in 2019. We didn't last year for obvious reasons. This year we decided to do something kind of fun with our shirt designs. And yes, Jarrett, you will get one of these as a filmmaker. We thought, what are the shirts that are most collectible and the people love the most? And it's concert shirts. Whenever there's a band that's touring and it lists the tour dates all along the back, and everyone wants to have the shirt to show, like, I was at that show in like 2011 and wherever. So we designed our shirts this year in the same way, but on the back it lists all of the films and the directors. So we will have those for sale, and we're giving those out for free to all of our filmmakers and our volunteers. But Jared, if you want a bunch of extra ones to take home to family and cast, you'll have to buy more on top of that. So okay. we'll be selling shirts for $15, and they list all of the films on the back, all 47 films that were picked.
But those are the volunteer shirts as they
Yes. So volunteers will receive one of those. Board of directors members and filmmakers will get a shirt.
You need our shirt sizes ahead of time so you can put them aside.
I made sure that we went from child small to triple XL. So a
lot of kids, these medium and large sized kids want to wear 3X size shirts.
Right.
3X people
maybe miss out. Yeah, I know. I did set aside for triple XL of every size down to child small. So because our 6-year-old filmmaker who won last year as a filmman again this year, now 7 years old. Yep.
Cast.
Yeah, James LeGros right there.
This Edelstein.
Yep. Jesse and the rest of the crew. Yep. So with that, John or Jared or anyone else, do you have any questions about the film festival? I know I've been very thorough tonight, but I wanted to make sure that we detailed what's going on before the festival. Friday at 5. Yeah, Friday at 5 is when we'll start. We'll show the film Strut and Project 88 on TVs in the lobby and outside. Then 7 to 9 will be Meeks Cutoff, and then virtual cast reunion 9 to 10. Saturday we'll start at 10:30 in the morning, and we'll show feature-length films, including Jarrett's film, from 10:30 until 8 o'clock. And then from 8 to 10, we have a filmmaker get-together happening at Klamath Basin Brewery out on the patio. Sunday, or also Saturday morning, anyone with a lanyard gets free breakfast at the Daily Bagel. Sunday morning, we will have discounted breakfast at the Klamath Grill. And then we will start with films with Jonas's film that we watched earlier at 10:30 in the morning. And we will run nonstop films Q&As all the way up until 6 o'clock. And then we do our awards from 6 to 7. The idea of doing that is we want to make sure that folks like Jared who have to drive back Sunday night or to Portland Sunday night can get back at least maybe by midnight or so. So we want to try to give people a chance to get out of there once they know all of our winners.
You know, I wanted to ask you, Kurt, the place, the Running Y.
Yeah.
Is that near where the Raglan Theater is, or is there?
The Running Y is northwest of town. It is outside of town. It's about a 15 to 20 minute drive.
Okay.
But it is a full-on enclosed resort. It's got its own mall. It's got its own ice skating rink, horseback riding, golf course. It is one of the nicest resorts in the entire state of Oregon.
It's a ranch resort that has a lot of different features and like restaurants and inns and stuff like that. So it's its own thing, but it's a little bit outside of town. But
yep. So
I may end up online the entire weekend then.
Yeah. We got discount rates from 2 hotels. Maverick Motel is in the same parking lot as Klamath Basin Brewery where we're doing our after party. And so that's the convenient one because it's 2 blocks away from the theater. But it's an economy hotel.
The nicest ones is the Charlotte Inn and Best Western.
Yep.
The best
for in town. And then we have a brand new hotel as well. The Fairfield Inn and Suites in town is also really nice.
My personal recommendation as an admissions counselor who works with other admissions counselors who travel around, I would recommend the Best Western if possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Running Y gave us a discounted rate for our filmmakers. So they're giving us a rate of $130 a night at the Running Y for our filmmakers, which that sounds expensive, but when you consider what the Running Y is and what they offer, that is a ridiculous rate. So Jared, if you want to make a whole week of it, you may want to come out and, partake in the festival and then spend a day horseback riding, playing golf.
Yeah, the golf course intrigues me.
Skating. It's the only Arnold Palmer designed golf course in the entire state of Oregon.
Nice.
And they have tournaments there. It is really high class, and they've got their own spa. If you've got a girlfriend or a wife, you bring them along, and they can hang out and get the full spa treatment while you're off watching films or doing whatever. So,
you may do that.
And during the film festival that Saturday, they will be hosting the Klamath Oktoberfest. Okay. So if you love German beer and bratwurst, go to Oktoberfest and then swing back around to the Ross Ragland. Ja, ich spreche ein wenig Deutsch. Meine Vater ist eine deutsche Lehrer.
They still have a paddle boat at Running Y?
I don't know.
What was that?
They used to have a paddle boat dinner cruise that took.
My dad was a German teacher.
Wow. Yeah. That was a number of years ago. They might still have that. I get to check with them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Eine wenige Deutsche. Bitte sprechen Sie langsam oder ich verstehe nichts. So with that, 7:40 now, I have loaded up on here, if we want to check it out, from our film camp. Not only did students make their own films, but the last day of the film camp, we made a group project. So the kids helped out with the script. We ran into some issues in that there was a small fire at the Ragland when we were filming. And so we had to reduce the script and cut some scenes. And then some of our footage got deleted. So we don't actually have an ending for the film. So it's very much so kind of like, I don't know, like the way that Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail just sort of like out of the blue just sort of ends. But in a weird way, it fits because the film's called MacGuffin and it's about In Search of the Thing, right?
How long is it?
It's 3 minutes long. So that we will show Sunday morning right after Jonas's film, but I have it loaded up if you want to check it out now, the film that we did together as a group. 15 kids were involved, none of which had ever made a film before. And so I directed as far as just saying hold the gimbal or sound boom pole come over here, but it was really the kids project start to finish. So would love feedback on that. But otherwise, if there's other things that people want to talk about, projects that may be upcoming, ideas for projects, questions about Klamath Film. I know normally we do these meetings with a guest where we're just talking about filmmaking. So this month was a little bit different, but with the film festival upcoming, there was so much info to go over. I don't know, anything that for the good of the order that anyone wants to go over, or otherwise I'll show MacGuffin. Yeah.
Came off.
Yeah.
I guess just since I am still looking for acting opportunities, or at the very least auditions or things like that, I'm always open for casting calls, or if anyone knows of anything of like any productions in the works or things that I could look into. I am an aspiring actor, but also I would say more than that, I am an aspiring acting student. So I'm very interested in learning more about the craft and being able to have some practice with it and developing my skills as much as possible.
All right. That's great.
That's just a kind of...
And you're willing to drive up to Eugene.
But I will say I am a little busy over these couple of months because it's the admissions travel season. But
right.
In general, I'm trying to make an effort to make myself available for those sorts of opportunities.
Yeah. Bowen, you say that now, but when you see the film Maxie and the makeup that people had to wear, you think twice about that. I asked some of his actors about that, and all of them had to have, meth face, so like open sores and bad teeth and all that. So they kind of went through hell to get the makeup look.
Makeup, even a Black Death for 3 minutes on camera.
Right.
3 hours of makeup for 3 minutes.
If you're a fan of like behind the scenes documentaries, when you get DVDs and Blu-rays, if you've ever taken the time to actually watch all of the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes stuff, which is like 14 hours of behind the scenes stuff. There's a whole segment of Sean Astin, who play one of the hobbits, complaining about the number of days that they had to go through makeup for their feet, which was like an added 3 or 4 hours, where then they filmed scenes where their feet were never shown. And it ended up being like 60 days of days where they had to get foot makeup, and then they never actually shot their. It had to be. It was the whole process to get their feet just right. And he was like, David Peter Jackson, like I'm keeping tally every time that we get our feet on, and you're not going to show our feet on camera. I'm holding this against you. So, that's a very legit thing when you have people that have to go through extensive makeup, and then during that day's shoot, their makeup doesn't actually get on camera. Like, I'm not sure how much complaining you had on set, but that is a legit thing that happens in Hollywood. Open complaints, and people have to go through all sorts of prep, and it doesn't end up in the shoot.
You get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to start shooting till noon.
Right. Yeah.
But you still have to be there at 8.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know, Jared, did you have too many complaints from your crew?
We had some complaints. The biggest complaint was baby oil in your hair to give it the greasy look that's needed. And the actors had a hard time washing that out, of course, at the end of the day. And then the next day having to put it back into their their hair. So there was frustration there. Other than that, it was pretty good. It took maybe 5 minutes per person to get it right. So before the shoot.
Before we, I show MacGuffin and we call it good for the month of September. Do you, since you're our one filmmaker who joined us, normally we have other filmmakers on here, but like I said, it was such a beautiful day here. I think everyone just wanted to go out and explore. Do you want to give kind of a rundown of, I know we've talked about it, but kind of what your film is about and kind of give the elevator pitch to have people come out and see it?
Maxie is about 2 kids from 2 young adults, I should say, from different sides of the tracks. You've got your trailer park areas, and then you've got your really nice homes in the hills, and each of them come from those areas, and they meet with that one commonality, and that's drug usage. So the relationship which you'll find as you watch the film, is built around their usage and not really built on a firm foundation. It's built on unkept promises, so to speak. So I think it's a good study on these young people and their journey, and it's only over a weekend, but the decision-making process and how they go about living day to day on a need to survive basis. So please come and watch it. I'd love to see you. I'd love to meet all of you.
Yeah, and you haven't had a chance to get much of an audience reaction because all the festivals you've been in have been virtual, right?
Yes, they have been. There was one that was not virtual, but no one showed up because of COVID.
John, do you think the actors, do they have their teeth falling out or anything like that?
No teeth falling out, but they're in pretty bad shape.
Process for making the teeth look bad.
There is a product. It's food coloring, and it comes in many different shades of yellow, and it's more like a mustard yellow to a green.
Yeah.
So it's pretty disgusting stuff.
This is more of like just a general filmmaking question, but do actors sometimes wear like veneers to make their teeth like look really crooked or like unkempt?
Yes, those are available. You could use those. We didn't really need to do that with this. The makeup worked just fine, but yes, or you're blacking out your tooth, using makeup to black out a tooth. Yeah.
What about the eyes? Did you do anything to make their eyes look big or small or anything like that, or bloodshot?
No, actually, both actors are interesting. Miles Dixon, who is the lead, he developed this little tweak of his eye, a twitch of his eye, which worked perfectly for a meth addict. And Sid, Liv Tavernier, who plays Sid, she just has beautiful brown eyes that, they speak without her having to speak. And she did a great job, and we really didn't need to do anything with the eyes.
As characters that are on meth, did you have any instances where they go from one mood to another really quickly? From real paranoid to really hostile to extremely mellow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely in there.
I was married to a meth addict.
Well, the one thing that when we did the Q&A, it wasn't just Jarrett, but also some of the actors and the producer and DP joined. And so I did want to make sure to ask, hopefully none of the actors went full method for making of this film. They weren't out, smoking meth beforehand to get into their character's role.
No.
So, yeah.
They did not, but they were great, and there are lots of ups and downs.
Yeah,
I feel appreciated for that.
It's not an easy film to watch because it's about kids hooked on drugs trying to survive, but it is an interesting watch. So I commend you on not just you making a film is hard enough, but again, shooting it in the midst of a global pandemic. Congratulations, sir. Regardless of whatever awards you may or may not win and that you may have already won at festivals and credit. That's a lot to be able to pull off. So
it was. Well, I've got to go too, guys. So listen, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
We'll see you soon.
So let me show MacGuffin, and then if there's anything else we want to talk about, otherwise we'll pack up a couple minutes early this month. And thank you everyone for being here.
One more question.
Oh,
John,
or Jared. John's up top. Jared just left.
Oh, Jared. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
John, did you have any scenes, Jared? Did you have any scenes where they were doing the meth? What did you use to substitute?
I made it a conscious effort not to have many scenes of them doing meth. Actually, there's only one scene that they're doing meth, and we used the pipe. We used, of course, a lighter and little crystals, and kind of did a little special effect for the smoke. It was very simple. We really didn't want to glorify the drug usage. We just wanted to actually show them using it.
Yep. So with that, thank you, Jarrett, and thank you, John, for joining us. John, any final words? I know you've been kind of quiet up there, but I appreciate you joining us and being with us.
Everything's great, man. Thanks for all you're doing. It's amazing. I don't know who's gonna fill your shoes, buddy.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I take it you'll still be a member and still hang around.
I am not going anywhere. I plan to still be heavily involved in the organization. The thing is, there's a lot that goes into the job during the day. There's a lot of daytime meetings. There's a lot of face-to-face stuff. There's a lot of work that happens. And with my new job, I'm working steadily 8 to 5. And so I did not feel it was appropriate for me to continue to collect a salary when I really can only help out in the evenings and I can't do all of the daytime stuff. So that's my whole motivation for resigning. If I could still continue doing executive director, I would. Okay.
Congratulations on the new position.
Thank you. Yeah. It's going to be weird only having to work 40 hours a week. Yeah. So with that, I want to show the group project that we did on the last day of our film camp. This is MacGuffin.
Oh, Ed, I can't find the thing. Have you seen it at all? No, can't open without it. Do you mind looking and helping out? Thanks.
Okay, showtime is soon. I don't suppose you have the thing, don't you? Okay.
Excuse me, do you have the thing? I know people are looking for it.
No, we really need that place for the documentary.
I heard the thing was missing. Do you have the thing? You better go find it.
Oh man, where's that thing?
Isn't it all showtime?
What is that thing? Maybe it's in the theater. Come on. I've been expecting you. I'll never give you the thing. So we need it for the show. You do? Here you go.
Hey, did you find the thing? Thank you so much.
Yeah, an HVAC issue.
That's you leave the lights on and the door unlocked. If you drop on by, you don't have to know. We're happy to share whatever we've got.
And the fire department showing up during our film shoot.
Should add it then, man.
Should we start all that for the next
films, and one of them is a MacGuffin. Can you explain what a MacGuffin is?
Yes, a MacGuffin you see in most films about spies. It is a thing that the spies are after. In the days of Rudyard Kipling, it would be the plans of the fort on the Khyber Pass. Mm-hmm. It would be the plans of an airplane engine and the plans of an atom bomb, anything you like. It's always called the thing that the characters on the screen worry about, but the audience don't care. And someone asked, what is a MacGuffin? And it's described in a scene in an English train going to Scotland. And one man says to the other opposite him, he said, what's that package above your head there? The other man said, oh, that's a MacGuffin. He said, what is a MacGuffin? He said, well, it's an apparatus for trapping lions in the Scottish Highlands. And I said, but there are no lions in the Scottish Highlands. He said, then that's no MacGuffin.
Thank you for clearing that up for us.
Said, see, it works.
And with that, that is MacGuffin. That was a one-day film shoot that we made with kids that we did shoot an ending for it, and then we subsequently immediately lost the footage that we shot. So we had to do kind of a Monty Python style ending on it, but I think it still turned out okay, and kind of ties in as a funny little joke with the whole MacGuffin thing.
What happened to the file though?
One of the students immediately deleted it off the camera. While they were going to then check out the camera to go work on their project, and they formatted the card. Oh. And so we immediately lost the footage that we had just shot, on top of having to evacuate the building because of the building filling with smoke and everything else.
The next lesson you say is bring your own card.
Right. But we were able to do a group project that I can say every single kid in the camp was involved with, whether they were doing camera, whether they were on camera, sound, lighting, whatever. So that even though it wasn't what we had planned, I'm incredibly proud of it, only because of the kids that were involved in it. So we're going to show that after we show Jonas's film on Sunday morning to kick off our K through 12 student category. So, and with that, unless anyone has anything else that they want to discuss, it's 7:55. We should wrap up for the month of September. But thank you, Bowen and Howard and Joyce and David and Jared, who left, and John, for joining us. I really appreciate you just sticking with us, John.
Hey, well, thank you.
What did you think of MacGuffin?
Well, yeah, it was an interesting thing. I mean, I was just a little concerned about the audio. It was artifacted. Is that just something going on online, or is that actually the way it is? In the real thing?
So the camera that had the nice microphone was the one that got formatted. And the only audio that I had to work with was in a shotgun mic in a blimp on a boom pole. That the students weren't up to par as far as holding it close enough to pick up the audio. So I really had to boost the gain on it to be able to hear things. And so that is the drastically cleaned up version. I realize it's not ideal, but I was working with basically whispers and had to duplicate gain on it multiple times over to get it loud enough.
Well, just as a personal project, it would be kind of nice if I could maybe get like a scene just from somebody and just see if I can make music for it. Just not that it has to be used. I'm just want to have the process and see what they think.
Right. You just want to have a project as something to cut together. I could give you the raw cut of the Woodcrafters video that I showed you without music, and if you want to try to come up with something that matches kind of the emotional tone for it, by all means, I could send that to you and you can work with it if you just wanted a project as a thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I just see all the other people, stuff like that. And like last month we had a whole bunch of people online and they've done a lot of projects, and sometimes I'm like, it'd be kind of fun just to take a snippet or something from one of theirs and just see, what if the music was this, or it just gives me something, good how it is. It's hard to put something together and want to do something if you don't really have something to do.
Right.
I'm not that you're going to use it. I just want them. It'd be nice to see what they would say about it, and they're like, oh yeah, that is usable, or no, it's not because of this or that, or something.
Especially after talking to Steven last month, how the whole conversation was about music for film too, right? You kind of want to try out different things.
It's like let's put on the training wheels and try it out.
Sure.
The only other thing, Kurt, is we got all these members in the film, Klamath Film, and but I'm like, how do we even find each other if we ever want to do any kind of collaboration? I don't even know who the people are. So is there some way that we can contact others, or is it kind of only if you meet them and get their contact in from them themselves?
Well, the active membership right now is 63 members. Not all of them are in Klamath. We do have people that are kind of scattered around, but most of them are Klamath based. Of that, I would say probably 30 to 40 of them have at least some film or acting or crew type experience. A lot of them are active full-time filmmakers right now that are around here doing film production already. So that is a thought. Mostly the way that we work it is that Klamath Film kind of serves as the central hub. So if you are looking for people, we can send out a blast email to all of the active members and say, if you have a project, or if, say, like someone's looking for someone to do grip work on their next production, or they need a DP for it, or they need an actor for this, I'll send out emails saying we're currently seeking this for a project. So I could very easily send out an email to our membership saying, if you have a film project that is looking to be scored, or, you know, we have a member that's looking to do scoring work simply for the practice. If you have a video project that you want to send out, contact John at so-and-so. Otherwise, I could also reach out directly to a few of the people that I know are really active filmmakers that maybe have some raw footage, and say, you know, we have a member who is looking to do some scoring work, and they want to do it just kind of for the experience.
Yeah, just practice. You know, it's just like, let's just take a scene here or something like that. And then, you know.
There's a few that I could absolutely reach out to in the immediate. One in particular, Nick, has been crazy busy right now. He does a lot of like wedding films and does a lot of commercial work locally. And I'm sure he would be interested, as opposed to just always having to use stock music. If that was something that you were interested in doing, even if he ultimately doesn't use it for the project, just as something, as a possible collaborative effort, I can email him tonight when I get home and see what he wants to do.
Yeah, I'm just got to stick the foot into the pool. You know how it is.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to discuss, or shall we call it good for the night? Okay. That sounds like we're good for the night. Thank you, John, for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Joyce and Howard, and for helping out during the festival, and Bowen and David, if you volunteer as well. Thank you for all that. Appreciate everyone's involvement.